Everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. My name is Mandy and I am here to do a full face of Versed makeup. If you have never heard of the brand Versed, they basically are known for their very affordable skincare. They are available on their website as well as Target, and everything that they offer is below $20. A few weeks ago, they came out with their makeup line, which is pretty extensive. It has everything but a powder in it from what I have been able to see. Again, everything is under $20 in their makeup line as well. And I have 8 pieces to do a full face for you. 3 of them were sent to me by Versed, and then I went and bought 5 more. I have some very mixed feelings about some of these products. Some of them I absolutely adore, and some of them I absolutely don't. So if you want to see what I think about them, how I got this look, let's jump in. Because the eye look I'm gonna be doing today is insanely easy, and coming from someone who literally never does complicated eye looks, I feel like that's saying a lot. I'm gonna start out with the base, and I'm gonna use the Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. When I first got this, the very first thing I thought of was the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40 because of the Serum Skin Tint SPF 40 similarities. I'll go ahead and say they are very different in my opinion. This is the Versed, and it is much thicker. It still has some runniness. It's not like a mousse. It moves some, but it is not a serum like the Ilia, despite saying multi-serum. This is $19.99. It comes in 14 shades. I have the shade 5N. This also has more coverage than the Ilia, and it is less dewy on my skin. The Ilia is very, very dewy on my skin. So despite the names having quite a bit of similarity, I do not find them to be similar in formulation or coverage. Now, this one obviously is a little bit more dewy than my skin. I have on the Numbuzin #1 SPF today, but it still has what I would consider a light to medium coverage. This does have an all mineral SPF in it. I don't ever rely on my skin tints or foundations to be my sun coverage. So I always have the SPF underneath it. So that is one small layer of the 5N. I would say to get my face and my neck, I use about 1.5 pumps. And then what I've been doing, not just with this foundation or tint, but with pretty much everything lately, is I've been taking a dry sponge and just tapping it mostly in the center. See how that automatically took some of that product up? That's product I don't need. The center of my face is where I need the least amount of coverage. And if I don't need the product, I don't want it. So I still want it to be there for, the color unification purposes, but I would rather there be less than more in that area, and this does the job of picking that up. Now I'm going to use the Serum Concealer. I got the same shade 5N in this because I like everything to be the same shade. If you wanted to go brighter, I would probably just go down 1 shade from your skin tint shade. This comes in the same amount of shades as the skin tint, and they do seem to line up. 5N, by the way, is described as light to medium with neutral undertones. This has caffeine and kojic acid, which claims to help with puffiness and dullness that we have under our eyes and help brighten. I just put 2 small dots where I have the most amount of darkness, and then I'm gonna pull it out and up. I just don't like a ton of product out here. I'm gonna be putting highlight there. This is where I crinkle the most when I smile, so I don't wanna put more product there. I just wanna kind of blend it out in that area in case I need some coverage, but I'm not gonna start with it there. So see how that 5N, and it does give, I would say a light to medium coverage. This is not a full coverage concealer. It doesn't claim to be. It has serum in the name. It is lightweight. It's easy to blend out. And I like that the concealer shades match up with the skin tint shades. Oh, and the concealer is $14.99. I'm not sure if I said that. Let's do bronzer. So this is a bronzer stick. It is $14.99. It comes in 3 shades. I have the shade August, which is their light to medium shade. Now I've tried this a few different ways. I've tried picking it up with a brush. as I often like to do, and then applying it. I've tried swiping it on. I'm just gonna stripe it for the purpose of today. So that is the light medium. I'm using my Sigma F43, and I'm just going to kind of stipple that in and then bring it up a little bit so that it's in the hairline. It is a very, very subtle bronze. Like in the viewfinder, I don't even know that I can tell that I put it on. It's a little bit more noticeable, a little bit on the cheeks. You can see just a hint. And I'm not being shy with the amount that I'm using. I'm going in an upward motion. See a little bit, I can see a little bit of color in the viewfinder on my cheeks, but I just don't see it on my forehead. And this is the lightest version of the bronze stick. Next, we're gonna use the blush stick, which comes in 5 different shades. It's $14.99, and I have the shade Pinch, which is described as peachy pink. Now, I have also swiped this on the face and picked it up with a brush. I think I prefer this picked up with a brush, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get it onto the brush and then tap onto the cheek. I really like this shade. I have been in just a very pink cheek mood lately. I just have been reaching for nothing but pink blushes, and this falls in that category. Very pretty. It is more pink on me than it is peach, despite the description of the product being a pinky peach. Good amount of pigment. Now, they don't have a powder, and I think they probably don't intend for you to use them with their products. However, this is too dewy for me for a final look. That's just a personal preference. You don't have to do that at all, but I am gonna set with a powder before we go on to the next step. Okay, I don't see the bronzer, so I have to use another bronzer. I just like to be more bronze than this, so I'm gonna use my Girl On that I talked about in my last video, which I just can't seem to put down. See how that, you can see that. You could not see that stick bronzer. I feel much better. All right, let's talk about the stick highlight. The High Points Illuminating Stick, $14.99 as well, 3 shades, and I got the shade Polished, which is the Cool Rose Gold. I almost got Baroque, which is the Silver Champagne, but y'all, I have so many of those. I wanted to get something in a little bit of a different color. So I'm just gonna apply this like I do all stick and cream highlights, placing it on those 2 fingers and just tapping it in. It does not come off rose gold on my skin. It just gives a nice highlight, but I think the main difference is that if it were the champagne highlight, the little bit of a lighter color, it would be more stark. And when I say, I mean, y'all are looking at this and being like, oh, that's stark, that's a highlight. Yes, but I think it would be even more noticeable as a separate highlight if it were the lighter shade on me. So I'm glad I got this shade. Before we do the eyes, let's do some lips because they feel really dry. I got the Tinted Lip Serum. So they have 2 different lip products. They have the Smoothing Lip Blush, which is like, looks like to be a tinted roll-up balm. And then this Tinted Lip Serum, which is more of like a glossy. It looks very much like the Tarte ones where you click the bottom and the product comes out through the top. I have the shade Bake, which says it's a warm beige. This comes in 5 shades and it is $11.99. I'm gonna swatch it on my hand before I apply it because I do find, see, that is definitely like a beige. I do find it doesn't apply to the lips like that. At least not fully. It's a little bit more sheer and not as opaque. But these are literal dupes of the Tarte. They feel the same, they work the same. So if you have used that, this is what that is, just more affordable. For eyes, they have one eyeshadow, and it is the, what's it called? Sheer Stay Liquid Eyeshadow. Comes in 5 shades. This is the shade I got, which is called Mystic, which is a bronze green shade. So here's how I like to apply this. Because it is a little bit darker, I like to take a brush and pick up the product from the doe foot and then apply it and build up from there. And I will say, I do find I need to build this up. So I'm taking this all the way into my crease because this is basically gonna be the main shade that I use. And then I'll just take a clean blending brush, kind of blend out those edges before it has a chance to set. You need a very small amount of this, even though I do find I need to layer it. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna come off on camera, but it is a bit patchy on the lower lash line. I just don't feel like it is opaque as it should be. So I like to layer this. What I'm doing now is not necessary for the actual eye look I'm doing today because I am gonna be putting something on top of this. But if you were just using this, I do find that it needs a little bit of extra pigment on the lower lid or the mobile lid. And to ensure I get the most pigment, I like to just tap it on. But that definitely added it to it enough to be the opaqueness that I want. Now this is, you can tell it's a green. It's more of an antiqued, deeper, mossy green. And when I wore this yesterday, it was just darker than I wanted it to be. So what I did was I went in with any kind of like highlighter in my collection. Today I'm just gonna use the Jane Iredale. This is called a bronzer, but it's their Moon Glow highlighter quad. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of those lighter shades and top kind of the inner half of my eye. And this is why I was saying it's not necessary for me to have built up that color because I'm covering it anyways, but I just wanted to show you the difference that it made. And then just putting that little bit of highlight brightens it up. It's just more of what I'm wanting out of the shadow. And then because it is still a little bit of a darker shadow, I feel like it needs some balance. So I am going to run that on my bottom lash line just very softly. This is a Rephr 3. Again, just so it doesn't feel top heavy. The liquid eyeshadow is $13.99. I can never remember if I'm saying the prices. And then finally, to finish off the look, we're gonna use the Lifting and Defining Mascara. I have the shade Brown. This is $14.99. It comes in brown and black. It's meant to add volume, length, and separation. This is the wand. It has plastic bristles to it. Pretty normal, straight wand with a tad bit of an hourglass. Very, very small. And there is flexibility with this wand. So I'm just gonna apply 2 coats to my lashes. Okay, that is 2 coats. To me, this did not give me any volume, and I really don't feel like it gave me a ton of length either. While it claims to separate the lashes really well, I actually felt like it made some of my lashes clump together a little bit. I had to go in and try to separate them afterwards, but it wasn't very successful. So because of that, it kind of makes them look like I have half the amount of lashes that I do because they are so clumped together, but still look thin, if that makes sense. So basically, I just feel like I put color on my lashes. I don't think it did anything other than that. Certainly for me, not what the claims are. So this is my full face of Versed makeup. I definitely have some winners and I definitely have some not so winners. I have 8 pieces of Versed makeup and I'm gonna put them into sections. Let's start with my, what I would say fails, the ones that I don't personally recommend and I don't feel like worked well for me at all. And I would start with the mascara. Again, it has done nothing for my lashes. My lashes are in a very good spot right now as far as length and volume on them by themselves. And it doesn't take much for a mascara to make them look better. And I just don't feel like this one made them look better. The bronzer stick is really something I don't foresee myself ever using because I just don't feel like it gives me enough pigment. I'm not sure if I got a darker shade, if it would work better, or if it's just the formula that blends itself away. I don't know that I'm gonna try a darker formula. This was just kind of a fail for me. And honestly, the concealer. Y'all, it just doesn't work for me. I have tried it over different correctors. I've tried it under different powders, and every single time my eyes look twice as dry as they do under any other concealer that I have been rotating through lately. And it just ages my under eyes. I don't know what it is. I've tried using less. It just doesn't matter. For some reason, this concealer does not work for me. I have two products that are in the mid category, which kind of means like, I can take them or leave them. I'm gonna keep using them. I think they're fine, but I'm not like, oh, all of y'all need it. And that's the tinted lip serum. And I think maybe it's just because it's so similar to the Tarte ones, and I like the colors offered from Tarte more than this. Clearly, this is a better deal, and it is more affordable than the Tarte ones. However, Tarte runs so many very high percentage off sales so often on their actual website that I find that I can get these, you know, if I wanted them close to the same price anyways. Not a bad product, but I wasn't overly wowed with it. Same for the liquid eyeshadow. I like the color. I have other green shades. I don't know. I used to have a green shade in the Armani eyeshadows when they came, the liquid ones came in the long tube, not the short squatty ones like this. And it was my favorite green of all time. I wish they would just bring that back. It was perfect for me. It had the undertone of this, but it was a little bit brighter. And this is just a little darker than I envisioned. Not this product's fault, but the reason it stands in the mid category for me is because it was a little patchy, and I did feel like I had to work with it a little bit more than some of my other liquid shadows. Now I have my top category, and the three products in that are definitely the multi-serum skin tint. I love this stuff. I love the color. I love how it wears. I've tried it over various SPFs. I've tried it under various powders, and it works well every single time and looks good. It just looks good. I never have an issue with the wear of this. It's the perfect coverage for me. I can mat it down with powder and it stays that way all day, doesn't stay more luminous. It's very affordable. I'm gonna try to get my daughters on this because I feel like it's something they would like because they don't like high coverage. It's just it's comfortable. I like it a lot. This was probably the first, oh my goodness, I love it, product that I tried from this brand, and it's the one I have used the most. And then the final two, really, really like them, are the blush and highlighter sticks. Now, I'm not saying these stand out as any better than any other cream blush or highlighter sticks that I own. What I'm saying is they are just as good for a very affordable price. I like how they wear. I like the pigment that they give. I don't have an issue with them wearing off. Really nothing bad to say at all about these. Again, not overly different from anything else I own, but definitely more affordable, only being the $14.99 price point. So hopefully you enjoyed this and it was helpful. I know I had one specific person ask for a full face, and ever since I have received these and bought these, I wanted to put them together for a look for y'all anyways. If you have any questions, let me know. I will have all the products listed and linked down in the description box. I do think I have a code with Versed, so I will list that down as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.